Hello, my smart cookies. I am so excited to be doing this podcast with you.
I am too. I am super excited because I get to hang out with my wife.
I'm the luckiest.
I am the luckiest.
No, I am the luckiest. You are the best.
I am the.
No, I'm the best. No. I'm the luckiest. You're the best.
We have a sign that Tess put up in our little kitchenette area, and it says, there's two signs. One says,
I am the luckiest. You are the best.
And we like to interchange it. I feel the same the other way around. She's the best. I'm the luckiest. But yeah, that's very cute. Anyhow, that said, we're really excited today to talk about. Let me just set this up by saying this is if you love tea. This is the episode, right? This is the tea episode that you've been waiting for. Now, we will not be mentioning anyone by name.
Then that's not as good of a tea.
I know.
It's not. Everyone wants to know the names.
We are not naming names because we're respectful. We want to, we don't want to throw anyone in the bus. Like, you guys know that we always want to say, take the high road.
Yeah.
But we have recently, in the last, it feels like the last couple of months, we've had some weird interaction. I can name 3 people who probably, if they had a dartboard right now, they would put our face in the middle and throw darts at it. That's their feelings about us. That we've either hurt them, screwed them, whatever. And we've kind of stayed out of it by not interacting or taking the bait. So as we like to say, don't take the bait. When someone begins to behave out of character, let's say, and openly is bashing someone or openly going online,
coming after you.
Yeah, we don't believe in taking the bait. We just say, you know what? Let them do their thing. So, but at the same time, it's painful, guys. It's seriously painful because I think all 3 instances are misunderstandings of what we're about and what we're trying to do. So we thought we share this with you, not to dish out tea. Yeah, I was like,
you just said you were going to dish out tea. You just said that.
I did. But
so you're doing a bait and switch.
I'm bait and switched on you here. I just want to help you guys manage and work through relationships in the beauty industry. It is normal to run into people. We are human. I actually remember back in the day, I remember talking to our coach, Daryl, who was now retired, I found out, at Strategies. And I remember saying, I was frustrated one day, and he's my coach, and I'm like, man, is there ever a time with our salon where everything just kind of works and I don't have to worry about drama? He says, absolutely. He goes, just get rid of all the people and your salon will work amazing. And of course, the idea is like this. Well, as long as you work with people, it's going to be messy. We're going to bump into each other. We're going to have problems. We're going to struggle. And so today's podcast that we want to talk about is we want to encourage you guys or help you understand how you can better, I guess, deal with struggles with conflict. And we have some things that we do, and we're going to share that, how to deal with conflict and disappointment and struggles. So anyhow, we have literally 3 unique cases. All 3 are very different. There's not like, they're all a common through line. No, each one is unique in its own self. And we want to talk about what to do when you have a problem with someone in the industry. So let's just say you have employees or you have other lash artists you meet at LashCon, or you meet a brand and you get to know them and you have a problem. What do you do? Tuss, what's your thoughts? If someone's in the industry and things aren't going the way you want, do you just ignore them? Do you talk to your friends? What do you do?
Well, there's many answers here. There's the answer that what most people do,
yeah.
What most people find comfortable, and then what they should do.
Yeah.
So maybe we should talk about what most people do.
Yeah, let's unpack first off what is the normal response, because you see it all the time, right? I mean, you see people interacting and responding to everything online. People love the drama, but so let's go. What's the normal response? Let's just say, in our instance, let's say someone was felt disappointed about LashCon or maybe our podcast, and then they decided to deal with it.
So the first way that most people deal with it is that they don't go to the person that they're upset about. That is like you avoid that completely. And what you do is you want to make sure that you're right. So you seek out a bunch of people that know this other person and might think the same way that you do. And then you go and tell this other person, this confidant, everything that you're feeling, and you're looking for them to affirm what you're saying so that you feel justified in that.
Which, by the way, if you are a salon owner, I guarantee you've dealt with this at some point. You're going to have someone come to you and go, everyone hates you. It's just what happens. Like, I'm upset with you. You've messed up. You broke trust. By the way, we all remember, the currency we trade is trust in business, right? So if you break trust with someone, and by the way, plenty of owners break trust. We as salon owners have broken trust because we didn't do things right. But that's not the point at this point. Plenty of times, someone has come to us and go, Paul,
everybody hates you.
Everyone hates you. I'm like, wait. I mean, everyone? Oh, yeah. Everyone hates you.
Everybody feels this way about this situation. You've completely blown it, and everyone's going to tell you too.
So the idea is, the reason why they say this is they say everyone hates you is because they hate you. And to build a better argument is much stronger if they say everyone hates you. Even if everyone doesn't hate you, it works better to their advantage to say that.
I don't think that people are going out on a limb here. I actually think that they think everyone hates you. And this is how it works, because you're mad at somebody. And then you go to everybody in the break room and say, oh my gosh, that person just did this, and this. Oh my gosh. And they think that because you told them that, they're all in agreement. Yeah. The thing is that it takes a rare person who really is invested in you and committed to your best well-being in the same way like a parent would be, to actually correct you if you're wrong. How many of us have clients that are doing like terrible things in their lives, and you're just like, oh, well, I guess they deserve to be killed. I mean, you're not going to tell them, what you're saying is vile and what you're thinking is really not helpful to you. Sometimes we have that privilege of being able to speak that kind of truth into our clients' lives, but often it's not appropriate. And so we just kind of listen, and if we agree. And so,
I mean, by the way, everyone thinks Tussanee is a far left liberal and a far left conservative, because depending on the client, if they just share their information, it goes, oh, that's interesting.
Tell me more.
Tell me more.
So the point is that the appointment is all about the client, not about me. But the thing that I'm trying to say is that the person might need to get a lot off their chest and feel affirmed, because they're feeling bad in their heart, and something's bothered them, and the only way that they know how to feel better about it is to talk about it, and they take that talking about it as the fact that everybody now hates you.
Yeah. So here's the thing. If you're a salon owner, a business owner, or a brand owner, or whatever, and you have staff, and someone comes to that complaint, don't worry, you're in good company. Like, this is the normal protocol for employees to do, to bash their bosses or their employers by saying, oh yeah, it's not just me, it's everyone feels this way, everyone thinks you're horrible. And so we want to affirm those of you who are business owners, maybe you are horrible, but it's not as extreme as the employee says. They're just using it as a ploy to basically attack and build an argument to make you feel horrible, and maybe capitulate and give up ground, or give them whatever they want, because I think every boss I know wants to be a good employee. I rarely have met someone like, oh yeah, I enjoy being evil and horrible and treating people badly and ripping them off and stealing money from my employees. That's not what, at least the people I've met, that's not their goal. They want to do the right thing. So when employees act up and start saying the bad things, often employers will back off and capitulate and give up ground, or give people resources or whatever they want, more money, and because they want to be seen as a bad person. But here's the thing. We want to encourage you. Let's just say you're an employee or you're an employer, and bad things happen and you're frustrated and you're angry. What you don't want, I think for us, we want to encourage you not to take, like we always say, don't take the bait. Just take the high road and either walk above it, or if you're the one being wronged in some way, talk to the person that has wronged you. Don't tell 18 other people, like tell your mom, tell your sister, tell your best friend, tell every person in the salon. Talk to the person who offended you, because they're the only ones who can solve the problem. They're really your friend. You're like, hey, this horrible thing happened to me. Let me tell you about it. And I'm a little bit more empathetic towards like, hey, you need to talk to a person to process it. Someone who gives you context, gives you wisdom. Great. Go talk to that person. I have those people where I'm really upset and I'm frustrated and I go, what should I do? I'm trying to figure out the right thing to do. That's a different conversation than going, this person is an a-hole and I hate her. What do you think? Oh yeah, she's horrible. Like, yeah, and then you both gone down a downward spiral. Like, that's not productive. So once you talk to your confidant who can help you hopefully get perspective, then you go from there.
The confidant's really important. The confidant that you choose really should have your best interests in heart. Like, you don't want to side up to somebody who is going to be poison in your ear or encourage you to do things that are not good for you, or
not just agree with you, right? Not just be someone who's a yes person, but Lily listens to your concerns and goes, I know you're upset about that, but that's kind of weird that you're upset about that. I mean, like, we recently had a thing where you're worked up over the chiropractor, right? Way over the top upset about this chiropractor. And it's like, you know what? It's okay. He didn't do the right job. But there is a point where, like, you need to back off. It's a little too much.
Okay, well, you know me. And what happened was he pushed my buttons. And it led into other issues that I have. And so that's what it tipped up. And it caused a good conversation. And you know, but it's...
And we'll talk about that soon. Probably maybe in our next episode.
We'll talk about
But that said, the reason why I say that is I when you mentioned that, I kind of said, well, you know, I was there to affirm you. That sucks.
Yeah.
He treated you poorly. That was bad. The way he did it was not good. But at the same time, like, he's human and he's just another person. He's probably overworked, doesn't have a good systems in place. So don't hate him.
No.
Like he didn't know what he was doing. And that was more encouragement. You need that type of person to be in your life. And if you don't have that, by the way, you need to find someone. Like, if your friends are all, you know, like, oh, whatever you say, I agree with. You know what? That's great. But you really need some friends who are actually willing to push back a little bit and go, is that person really as bad as you say? I mean, did they really? And you think they intentionally did that to you? Or do you think it was just incompetence, or maybe they were overstretched, they were maybe out of their element, whatever, to help you be a little bit more empathetic? Because I think empathy is a great talent to have as a lash artist. If you can have empathy, I promise you, you're going to be one of the most booked lash artists, because that is such a superpower.
There is a proverb that says that an enemy multiplies kisses, but wounds from a brother can be trusted.
Yep.
What that means is that sometimes just because you're getting the flattery, you know, it feels nice, but it's actually coming from an enemy, because that's not what's good for your soul.
Yeah.
But somebody who's a true brother, somebody who truly cares for you, is somebody who's going to wound you for your good, so that you can learn. They're going to tell you the hard truth, not just be a yes man.
Exactly. So we want to encourage all of you, when a wrong happens, for you to first if you need to process it, work it through. Yes, find that good friend, that colleague that you can touch base with. But after that, go to the person.
Yes, this is something, as women, as girls, we are not socialized to do this. And it's not comfortable. It is really not comfortable to go to somebody and actually confront them. Girls, we are taught that everything has to look good on the outside. So even if you're raging and you hate them, you're going to give them kisses, right? Because that's how we've been taught. But it's like, if you want to get over that and be a strong woman who is effective in relationships and able to regulate her own emotions, this is one thing that I really encourage you guys to work on, is really, once you understand how you're feeling, to be able to go to that person and have a talk with them. And we did a training when we had the salon, and we always said, this is how we should preface it. You know, I'm going to have a talk. It might be a little difficult here. My goal is to work through this with you. So it might get a little awkward, but I promise we're going to get through this.
Yeah, I mean, I think the goal was, you always want to affirm people when you have that difficult conversation. Let's say someone has offended you, and it's a friend, someone you thought was your ally, right? what Tess said, you need to first go to them and say, hey, Sally, we're friends, right?
I hate it when you use the word Sally. I hate it.
Okay, Jen. I'm going to use Jen because I use Jen a lot too.
You know what? I think it should be a more modern, I'm not modern name, but can you not pick Jen?
Taisha. How about Taisha?
Okay, Ty.
All right, Ty. How about Ty?
Okay.
Hey, Ty, we need to talk. We are friends, right? And I think the world of you, and I love you, and I care about you deeply. But there's been something going on in the salon that I just can't deal with anymore. We had, actually, as an example, we had staff that shared room. We had our morning staff that came in from 7 and they worked till 3, and then we had evening staff that worked from 3 to 11. They shared rooms. Guess what? Conflict comes from that. So this would happen. They'd be like, oh, she never cleans up. It's always a mess. And I'm like, oh my gosh, can you just talk to her? They come to me and like, can you just talk to your fellow roommate and work this out, right? Just talk to them. But no. They don't want to talk to them because that's scary. Again, it's scary to tell someone you're not happy with them. They complain to me and say, you fix the problem, Paul. And I'm like, you know what? I would love to fix the problem, but I want to see you grow and be uncomfortable a little bit. That's going to cause what's part of your brain grows when
your
you're
mid-cingulate cortex.
Yes, that's going to cause whatever that is to grow. So, and you're going to be a better person for it. So
it's like the Grinch, when his heart grew.
Yeah. So anyhow, I would encourage them to go. But if they didn't, then I would sit down with them and say, and I would coach my team and say, look, we actually literally had practice on this. We had sessions where we teach them, like, you go to them, you affirm them, you tell them how much you care about them, how you appreciate them. But there's a big problem right now, and I can no longer live with this issue. You are a mess in my salon. Every time I come in the morning at 7 a.m., you don't clean up after your appointment when you finish up at 11 p.m. And I come at 6:30, and I have to clean up after you. I can't keep doing that. It's unreasonable. I leave the place sparkling clean.
Sparkling diamond.
Sparkling diamond. If you know that reference, let us know.
Moulin Rouge.
Yeah, no, don't tell them. It's our special thing. Oh. Anyhow, you tell, you basically, at that point, whatever. Oh, it's so all over the map right now. You let them know, and you communicate directly with them. You're not doing this to be a jerk. You're doing this because if you don't deal with the conflict, what normally happens in a salon is I go to her and I'm like, hey, she doesn't clean her space every day. She leaves it like a total mess. Oh my gosh, I hate working with Ty. She's a hot mess. And you're like, oh yeah, because again, she wants to be agreeable. She doesn't want to be a jerk. She says, oh yeah, she's totally a hot mess. I agree with you. I want to support you in this. And meanwhile, Ty then comes to her and comes back and goes, Bob is also a hot mess. And she's going to be like, oh yeah.
I know.
Yeah, Bob's a hot mess because she's in the middle. She's like, holy crap, I don't want to deal with this. And at the same time, you want to be in the middle of it because you love the drama, right? Because we all love drama. So anyhow, that all said, this doesn't help build a cohesive and happy workplace. And so we actually had training on this, saying when you have a problem, you only go to the person
that
who
can solve the problem for you.
Yeah.
Anything else is gossip.
Yeah, it's just gossip. I do believe if you need, we call it a bitch friend.
Bitch buddy?
Bitch. We call it a bitch buddy. If you need one bitch buddy, find your bitch buddy, preferably not in your company.
Not in the company. The bitch buddy should be like, somebody neutral.
Yeah. And then once you've spilled the beans, so to speak, and it got all out and you kind of process it. I'm a verbal processor. Tussanee is not. She is very much.
Okay, now I don't need to process it by talking to somebody. I can just give me a piece of paper and a quiet hour and
She'll be better.
I'll be better.
Yeah, I have to talk. It drives us nuts. She'll be like, can you please stop? You're making me depressed. There's times where I want to kill myself. Because I'm just putting it all out. But that's
like vomit sometimes. Anyway, let me explain what it looks like when you don't process things well. We have a neighbor, and so we do these podcasts, and as you can tell, this one gets very animated and really loud. These walls here are incredibly thin. You can hear conversations. And she moved in and started knocking. Don't do that.
She's not here.
Right.
It's middle of the night.
Okay.
We're here at 10 p.m. Don't worry.
So she would start banging
She
on
would
the
knock
door.
on the, she'd start banging on the walls.
And so, we tried to talk to her about it, and said, she was very upset that we were loud and could we move our office? And we're like, we've been here
For 3 years?
Yeah. Why don't you move or put your station in,
She has 2 rooms and she can be in another room. She chooses not to be. She chooses to be next to this where we do our podcast. And we only record maybe once, maybe 3-4 hours a week. But for her, she always seems to schedule clients when we're doing that.
The thing is that I like her and I want to do business with her. I think our business can refer each other. But the thing is that now she's upset with us. So every time we see her in the hallway, she's like turning, not making eye contact with us. And I'm just like, oh man, that really sucks. It really sucks because like I would love to be friends.
And I think the magic here is empathy. If she was empathetic, she realized, oh wait, they're running a business. They've been here longer than I. They're in their routine, and I have disrupted routine, and I've asked them to be quiet. And I've actually told them, look, we're trying our best to record podcasts on Wednesday mornings from 9 to 1. That's our, probably 70-80% of our podcasts are recorded then. Right now, we're actually on a Friday night at 10 p.m. recording. But that's just because that's just how it happened this week. So we try to be sensitive, but she's not empathetic in any way whatsoever. To the point now where she really doesn't like us. You can tell she's angry with us.
Yeah, she's angry.
And so that's unfortunate. Like, and so while I do believe you sometimes, like we were encouraging, if you have a problem with someone, go with the person and fix it. But also have empathy. Like sometimes it's out of their control. Like you think a certain lash artist does this because let's just say they're autistic and they don't understand certain things. Empathy will go a long way for you to understand, well, that's not in their wheelhouse. They're autistic. They themselves, generally, our son, our middle child is autistic, and he's not generally empathetic, right? It's not one of his strengths, and that's generally a sign of autism. And as a person who doesn't have that, you can be more empathetic and be like, well, I know that what they're dealing with. They're struggling with that. And
their brain doesn't work the same way.
Yeah.
And so it's terribly offensive.
Yeah.
It's terribly offensive, some of the things that he says. We love him, but I understand that his brain does not work the same way that everybody else's.
And we all think we're all the same. As humans, we all say, everyone thinks like I do. No, we don't. A lot of us see the world very, very differently. And some of us have inabilities actually to think or be empathetic towards others. So in this case with our neighbor, it's heartbreaking that we really have a broken relationship at this point. And it's because she's not thinking about the situation. She's only thinking about herself, what she's doing. And we have tried to alter and do things in our schedule to be more accommodating to her, but it's not enough. What she really wants is that we don't exist. That's what she wants. She doesn't want any noise ever Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 when she has clients. She doesn't want anything. She's not willing to bend with that. And unfortunately, I can't accommodate. We've been here longer. This is how we do things.
I wanna give her a teapot and some tea.
Yeah.
No, I do. I just want to be like, I'd like to be friends. Sorry it didn't work out in the beginning, but this is my heart for you. Here's some tea.
Yeah, that's our hope. And so first off, obviously, if you have a problem with someone like we've had recently with some of these people we're dealing with, obviously talk to us. Don't talk to other people. Don't go gossip. Talk to the person who can fix the problem. By the way, if they're not able to fix it, be at least aware why they cannot. Like, put yourself in their shoes. Think what's it like to be like them. You might think if you really truly do that, you might actually go, oh, I see why they're like that. And I get it. I didn't think it through really. I only thought from my perspective, but when I actually think about their perspective, it really changed the game.
But what do you do if people are talking bad about you?
Well, I mean, that's another issue. I mean, if people talk bad about you, I think we've both agreed, because recently we found at least 2 people we know that really gone out of their way to badmouth us in the industry. And by the way, if you have any influence in the industry, if you have employees, you're going to eventually face that. That's going to be part of the job, and it's painful. And I know for us, our hearts always be to do the right thing. I think when someone badmouths you, you generally, my advice is not to engage with that bad advice, not to go into the dirt and fight back and badmouth people. Because here's the thing, when people talk bad to others, for the most part, it makes them look bad. I really think that's the way it plays out long term. Short term, yeah, everyone wants a tea. Like, right, if you have clients and they're the last client, your last client sits down in the bed like, hey, what's going on? I'm sure if you're like, oh my gosh, let me tell you, someone stole my content on Instagram. They're like, oh yes, tell me the tea. Tell me what's going on. They can't wait to hear you totally talking about how this other lash artist stole your content or did something bad to you. They're eating it up. It's like giving the popcorn. Boom, boom, boom. Like, right? But I think the better way to go, especially when you have clients, if something's going wrong, someone's wronged you, someone has literally wronged you in your perspective, I don't want to draw other people into your drama, into your pain, into your hurt. I think if you have a husband, boyfriend, close friend, yes, you can talk to them, process it, work it out so you can do the right thing. But your clients, they're not there. I mean, yes, they want to be there for that, but that's not what they're really there for.
Yeah, don't use your clients to work out your own feelings. I mean, it's very tempting because some of you might have close friend type relationships, but one of the ways that I feel like I've been so successful all these years is that I've carried my clients instead of relying on my clients to carry me. They're paying me the big bucks to do everything for them, and by them, I have a fiduciary duty to protect that time. So I just feel like it goes farther. Don't use your people to get your needs met.
So one last thing to talk about as far as dealing with people who you're disappointed, discouraged. Like, obviously, I think the first thing we always say, if someone hurts you or wrongs you, go talk to that person, right? Have a confidant, someone your bitch buddy, someone you can talk to and work it through. But in the end, go to that person and work it out. I'm shocked how many people never do that. There are people right now, a handful of people in our industry who I pretty much think they hate me. Amazingly, they love Tuss. Tuss is an angel because Tuss literally doesn't deal with anyone, right? She's at LashCon, she's at events, but
That is not true. I want to
people
tell
don't
you,
hate you.
People will come up to me and tell me that they're upset.
Really?
Yes.
You never shared that with me.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, upset with you or more upset with me?
Upset with LashCon.
Oh, okay. Oh, no, you're right. No, you're right. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, sometimes people will be disappointed and they will come to LashCon and say, hey, I really hoped for this. It looks like this. You're right. No, I get that.
Oh, no. People come up to me and share their heart with me, and it's not always happy.
Yeah.
I mean, the most important thing for me, I believe, is to hear the person and validate them and honor what they're saying.
I agree. We get some of that. But I guess the bigger picture, what we've seen is most of our conflict is with me. Because I run LashCon, I tend to be the louder one, right? And I think I'm a guy. So I'm a little more direct about things at times. And you always tell me, you need to be a little softer. You need to be a little more understanding. And Tuss coaches me all the time. Like, you need to do this. And I try to listen. And sometimes I do good. Sometimes I don't. But overall, I think most of the people that this recent conflict have been, actually I should say, it's two people hate me, one hates you. So that's okay. Either way, the point isn't that who hates who. The point is what these people have done is we wish that when they were upset that they would come talk to us directly instead of talking to others. And secondly, I wish they didn't go around and tell everyone. Well, someone recently I talked to said that who loves us. And I reached out to this person about something, and I was like, "Hey, how's it going?" And I go, "Oh man, I just got to tell you up front. She was a little nervous to talk to me. She says I was really nervous to talk to you because someone doesn't really say good things about you." And I'm like, "What?" And she goes, "Oh yeah, there's da 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 da." And she says, "I've known you guys for a long time. I believe in you guys. I love you guys. It was really awkward for me, and I thought you had found out that maybe I had heard bad things and you were calling me to talk about that." And I was like, no, I wasn't calling about that. But I was heartbroken to hear it's like, that person should just talk to me. And she's, I know. But it was interesting. I realized that she felt bad because she was a bearer of bad news. Like someone had dumped on her all this horrible news. She knew us well enough. I've known her for years. She's amazing. She's a wonderful person in the industry. And she felt bad that this person decided to badmouth us. So what really happens for those people who do this, you're the one who looks bad. In fact, there are some brands in their industry that use marketing where they bash other brands, maybe not directly, but indirectly, with hopes to get sales, right? They're like, oh, you can't do this light. You can't do this lash technique. They use fear.
Yeah, fear and, like you're not going to be a good lash artist if you buy this product or you do this thing or you violate your clients this way.
Yeah, and I think we want to encourage you guys, never use fear as a sales tool. That's a horrible sales tool. Yes, it can work, but long-term it doesn't work well. And also, I just think bad-mouthing people makes you look bad. If you do a training and you're literally, a person did a training and they publicly, I guess, announced and bashed us in the training, it doesn't make you look good, guys. It doesn't make you look good. Take the high road. Show how amazing you are and what value you add and how you can really improve people's lives. Don't go throw someone else under the bus. Tussanee and I, we've never in our 20 years in this industry thrown someone in a training under the bus and said, well, if you take their training, they suck. Like that's a horrible message and makes you look bad. And it made this friend of mine really feel horrible inside. She's like, well, I know you guys, and you're not like that. She really painted a picture that doesn't make sense. And I'm like, I get it. I mean, when you have limited information, you jump to assumptions, and this person had done that. It was sad. And I hope, and I've reached out to this person, by the way. Here's the thing, I've reached out to this person, let's talk, and she says, I can't right now. So
yeah, I've sent messages, explaining my heart and my desire to work through things, and it's just crickets. There's nothing.
Yeah.
And when your best gestures are mistaken or taken as insult, what can you do? What can you do if somebody's not going to engage? What can you do if somebody doesn't have all the information? And you can't make a horse drink water if the horse doesn't want to drink water. So
I mean, here's the thing. When you hear someone bad-mouthing someone, please, and I've been around long enough to say that I've seen this 1,000 times.
Encourage that person. Go talk. Hey, that sounds like it's really bothering you. You know what? I bet that person would be open to hearing it, especially if they knew how upset you are. You should go and talk to that person. See if you can work this out. I mean, this might be a really good way for the other person to grow. Yep. I would love that.
Yeah, I often, and if you guys know us well enough, you know that we welcome criticism all the time. We get from LashCon, we openly, when we are our salon, we loved it when a client,
it's not easy. It's not easy, but it's the only way you can grow. Your most unhappy circumstances are your greatest opportunities for learning.
Exactly. So what we would encourage, you got to be open to criticism. That's a good thing. It's not a negative thing, as long as it's done in love, right? What was I going to say? We were, I lost my train of thought. I had one more brilliant idea before we move to our last point.
When people are misunderstanding you, and
yeah, I'm drawing blanks right now,
right.
So it's okay. Anyhow, I just hope you guys understand that in these difficult conversations, I always like to assume the best in people. I always like to say, what? They just misunderstand. They see the wrong things incorrectly. I like that much better than assuming the worst in people, because I just feel like it's negative, and you get what you look for. If you look for people who hate you, you're going to find tons of people who hate you. And even the people right now that I feel like we have a tiff with, it's because they don't see the big picture. They don't see both sides. They see only side. That's what I was going to say. There's always another side to the equation, or to the problem. So let's say someone comes to you, go, blah, 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 treated me horrible. Well, I know they're your friend and you want to affirm them, and you should. Oh, that's horrible. That sounds like they did terrible things to you. But there's always another side to that coin. There's always another story. And don't jump to conclusions. You might need to hold back judgment and say, you know what? I hear that, but I also know the other person, and I've never seen them act in that way that you're saying. Maybe there's a misperception here. Maybe there's a miscommunication of some sort. Because I love that other person, or I know that other person, and they seem to always act with high integrity. They always seem to care. They want to love people. They want to take care of people. And you're right now saying that they're evil and that they want to murder every child on the planet. That doesn't make sense to me. So maybe there's another side to the story. So when you hear someone come to you with a complaint, of course, encourage them. Hey, why don't you go talk to that person? But also, if any reason, if you can act as a mediator and help bring resolution here and healing and care and a connection, maybe you can go over to the other person and say, blah, blah, blah says you're like crazy and that you do these things. Like you kill children at midnight and sacrifice them to great gods. And you're like, really? No, what? No, let me explain what happened. I actually, on Friday night, we decided to close early, and her client was there. So I closed the store early, and I left, and she had to close by herself. It's like, oh, she didn't say that Friday. She said Friday night that you yelled at her and said she should go to hell, and you're wrecking everything, and you had parties to go to, and you had to leave. Like there was like a totally different story that you heard from this person, from the other person. Now, maybe both are a little bit of an exaggeration, right? Because that's what we tend to do. We want to tell stories that help people build support for us. But at least, hopefully you realize when someone is bad-mouthing someone else, please don't just jump to the conclusion that the other person is evil and that they're Satan and that they must be killed, right? That's not the right conclusion. The better thing to do is go, I hear you. I'm sorry you've been so hurt, but maybe there's another story here that would be helpful to understand, that maybe bring a bigger picture on why this incident or where like the 3 people, I can guarantee you that we're having incidents. Well, actually it's 4 now I can think about. Most of it's miscommunication or misunderstanding. It's mostly perception. I can say perception is reality. And so if they perceive you wrong, well, that's a reality. But if we would just talk, which none of these people have talked to me, I've reached out to a couple of them and said, hey, let's talk. And they go, no. Because Tuss says people don't like, doing that type of thing.
It's too painful. It's too uncomfortable. They don't know what to say. They're really, really, really mad.
Yeah. So anyhow, that we want to encourage you. So definitely go talk to the person who has an issue. And if someone talks to you with an issue, encourage them to go talk to that person, right? Last thing we'll talk about, and then we'll wrap this up. This term self-awareness. And this is an important thing because while I like to think I have self-awareness, there's times I've found out I don't. There's definitely times where I'm like, I am clueless. Like Tussanee said, you don't get it, Paul. Right now, in our salon, we had all women. I was the only guy ever in our salon. Actually, our son helped clean the place, but I was the only guy every day in the operations side of things. Tussanee would tell me, you don't get it. You're just totally clueless. And I'm like, well, I'm totally great. And I had to realize there were times where I did not realize my words I chose, the way I acted, would hurt or at least make people feel small or feel disengaged or not inspired to be in our salon. That was painful because I always felt like I'm brilliant. I'm totally self-aware. And I realized there were things I had to grow in. I had to really learn to listen more and be more empathetic, to realize what was to be in their shoes, to hear me say certain things. He
would just spout off his views on things and not understanding that as the boss, it comes differently from the boss. And it's not about you spouting off your views, because people take that as like, oh, that's the way that they think that they should be behaving.
Yeah.
And so you learn to shut up a little bit more.
I think if you're in a business and you're the boss, like LashCast, my staff, God willing, I think I'm good at this now. I don't spout my views on anything. No politics, no religion, no anything. I'm here to support my team. I want them to feel good. I want to be empowered for what they do. And me coming in and talking about whatever, it doesn't have to be political. Be like, that football team sucks. And everyone's like, oh, that's my favorite team. They feel bad. I'm the general. I am Santa Claus, right? And I come in and I bash something openly. I mean, there is a little bit, I will say, in football, there's a little bit of play that I have with some of my team because some of my staff are Philadelphia Eagles fans and Pittsburgh, not Pirates, but Pittsburgh Steeler fans. And I have at times jokingly said, oh, they suck. But I even be careful. I'm careful to make sure that I know that they totally know I'm playing with them and I'm joking with them. I'm not diminishing them. I don't want them to feel bad about who they are or somehow they're a lower team member because of their love for this football team. And that's really something I wasn't good at. And I think the early days of our salon. And I think I've learned a little bit. And you need, if you're leading a team, you have to be kind of aware that your words. I mean, I think I forget where we heard it. It's like if you're the boss, it's coming from God. Yeah. Like, this is wrong. This is right. And if someone's like, oh, I disagree. And it's about trivial things. I'm not talking about, like, here's how we do our business. Here's how we do customer service. Here's how we take care of clients. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm like, something stupid like, anyone who eats at McDonald's is an idiot. Like, someone's like, but McDonald's is my favorite restaurant. And I'm like, well, stop it. You should never go there again. That is bad.
Yeah, no, it's bad. I'm so glad you have grown from that because that was just unbearable.
Hey, so you don't do that. You don't come in and make sweeping statements. Actually, don't do sweeping statements at all. Like, sweeping statements are really a bad thing.
It's like The Office and Michael Scott. You do not use your employees and the work situation as to get your personal needs met. Your employees are not your friends. They are not there to laugh at all your jokes. They're not there to solve your problems, to compliment you. They are there to work, and you have to provide a great opportunity and a great environment for them. And it usually means serving them. It does not mean you being the king. Rub my yellow bunions.
Oh, I so wish they could rub my bunions. But anyhow, so
that was a complete joke. He does not mean that.
So sort of. Okay, but here's the point. Self-awareness is something as a business owner, where you're solo or you have a team, is a skill that if you're not really sure you have it, you need to grow it. And here's a sign that maybe your self-awareness isn't in tune. You have conflicts with everyone. Like, everyone. You have conflicts with clients, you have conflicts with staff, you have conflicts with people you meet, your friends, your family. You're always in conflict, and you're always like, oh my gosh, everyone's an idiot in my life. Really? Everyone? I would say there's a common denominator, and that common denominator is you. You seem to be always in the middle of all the problems. For instance, I recently talked to someone in a Lash artist. God bless her. She's sweet as pie, wonderful person. I could tell, really earnest, trying. And I asked her, she doesn't have any clients. She says maybe one client a week. And I was like, how long has that been going on for? How long have you been Lash? I expect her to say, a couple months. She said 9 months I've been in business. I'm like, and you see one client a week? And she's like, yes. And I was like, what is going on that you only can get, 4 clients a month? In 9 months, that would be 4 times 9, 36, whatever the number is. That's not a lot of clients. There's something missing here. And I realized this person wasn't terribly self-aware, is what I would say. Like, she wasn't understanding that there's something she's doing, where it's the Lash appointment, her customer service, something that was making people like, I'll come once, I'll never come back. That's called being aware of your limitations, aware that your situation isn't ideal, that you're not delivering what you think. She it sounded like, I'm amazing, I do good work, and I'm like, there's no way you're seeing one person a week and you're doing great work. That doesn't make sense, because if you're doing great work, that one person will tell friends, especially if you ask them. And those friends will come and they will love it and they'll tell their friends. And in 3, 4, 5, 6 months, you'll be pretty booked out. You won't be, maybe you won't be 100%, but you'll be pretty busy. That's just the normal way things work. And I realized she wasn't self-aware. She had no clue why she wasn't working well, why things weren't selling, why it wasn't happening.
It's kind of like relationships too. If you've got, the friend that has just can't get it together in relationships, it's failed relationships one after the other, and then you encourage her to look at the kind of people that she's selecting as her partner, and they all have she has a type, right? And that there's a self-awareness there, that it's not you're having a bad time in relationships because you're choosing people that aren't good for you, or have that's self-awareness.
Yeah. And to be honest, I wish I could tell you how to become self-aware. It's not, I've had my moments in my life where I'm not. Tessa's at night, we've driven home and goes, oh my gosh, you drive me nuts. Like, you literally are close. You think you're some mastermind of running a salon, and you have no clue what you're doing. And that's painful.
It's hard. Like, I for the longest time, for most of my friendship relationships when I was younger, I would choose people who were just like bullies, really not very good. And there was an issue with me. I was attracted to that kind of person for unresolved issues. And I used to think, what's the deal? I'm a great judge of character. And I really had to look back on the swath of friendships and things that I'd made, and choices in business and stuff, and realizing, actually, no, I don't think that I have always been the best judge of character, but I thought that I was. So it really took a lot of dismantling those beliefs about myself to realize where my blinders were.
So that all said, I was thinking about this, like, how can we teach self-awareness? I don't think there is a tool. I think it's just learning through experience. Like, if you find yourself always at the short end of the stick, where people are mad at you and things aren't working well, I think if that's your sign.
You gotta ask yourself why.
Yeah.
Is it the case that everyone is against you, or are you doing something that is allowing that to happen? Are you attracting that kind of thing? Where are your blinders? Where are your blind spots? Like, what are you doing to contribute to the problem that's limiting you?
And if you see that the long-term benefit is a positive thing that you learn from these, I guess, egomaniacal fits or whatever it is, like, I'm the center of the world, I'm right, and you're like, wait, everyone always seems to be angry, everyone's always upset, and you begin to pull back and look in the mirror and go, you know what, it's actually me. I'm the one that's causing the problem. That moment of humility, I promise you, one of the greatest things that you'll have, aside from self-awareness, is humility, admitting you're wrong. There's nothing horrible or bad about you admitting you're wrong. I have admitted I'm wrong 1,000 times. I actually think it's one of my superpowers, is I can tell people when it's wrong that, you know what, guys, I made a mistake. I didn't do this right. I didn't play it out right. I'm sorry. I apologize.
I think, though, that one of your reasons why you're really good at that is that you have a really good sense of yourself, and your value isn't like in being perfect.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, their self-identity is in that they make good choices.
Some people.
And so it's easier for you to be, and you're humble.
That humility comes from, again, my faith. I'd say, as a Christian, I realize that I am a sinner and I have done horrible things, and I've been forgiven those things. So when someone says, hey, Paul, you messed up, I'm like, I probably have. You're right. I probably have messed up, and I want to make this right. My goal is always to live at peace with all people, and when that's your goal, it doesn't mean being a pushover, but it does mean when someone points out that I'm doing wrong, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. I said that, and that I can see how that would push a button or be seen as hurtful, and it makes me feel horrible because that wasn't my goal. Rarely in my life, I'm sure I've said things. We've been in situations where we say something like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I said that. It was just mean. It was just hurtful to get back at someone. But generally speaking, when I speak to my wife, Tussanee, I want to love her. I want to edify her. I want to lift her up. I want to build her up. That's my goal. That's truly in my heart. But as a sinful, broken person, in my instincts, like you say, I can be ugly. I can be so ugly.
That's why, one of the tenets of the Lord's Prayer is, help us to forgive those who trespass against us.
Yeah.
As we forgive those who, sin against us. And
I think that type of worldview really helps us to have a lot of grace for people. So aside from, and we've said a lot of skills, these are what they would say in the business world is called a soft skill. Like, there's hard skills, like I'm really good at adding numbers, right? I'm really good at building things with my hands, right? Or I'm really good, like Tussanee is really good with lashing. Soft skills are more like the things like relational things, like how you get along with people. How good are you leading? How good are you being? How humble are you? Are you able to take criticism? Are you a team player? Are you aware of your weaknesses and your strengths? Those are all soft skills, and I hate to say it, but most of these can't be trained. You can't be taught that. I hope you can develop them and grow in them, but it comes from you. You have to decide, I see a pattern. Everyone I work with eventually hates me, let's say.
Or humility, to say, you know what, humility just means that maybe there's other things that I don't know about. Maybe there's ways that I could do things better. Maybe I don't have all the answers.
Yeah.
Maybe I could be better. That's what humility is.
Exactly. So, anyhow, I think we've covered this all. I mean, it's crazy. This went way over what I thought. I thought we were going to just do like a short 20-minute episode.
I guess this is us being mom and dad, huh?
Yeah,
Encouraging you guys.
I this last week, I've gotten to talk to a lot of people who were going to be a part of be speakers at LashCon, and almost everyone said, "You know what, Paul? I see you and Tess as my mom and dad." It was.
You didn't tell me that.
Yeah. It's actually very touching for me. We had no intentions to be mom and dad, but it turns out that almost everyone I talk to is my child's age. So it's like our kids range between 25 and 33, soon 34. So our core audience, our target audience, is actually in that ballpark. Obviously, you're 40, 45. I love you too. You're awesome. We want to serve you too. But I just realized most Lash artists probably range between 20 and like 40. So that said, it's actually kind of sweet and kind.
An honor.
And it is an honor, and I don't take it lightly.
No, we want you guys to grow. We want the best for you. We want you to carry on well when we're not here. We want you guys to be equipped to be compassionate, empathetic people that make a difference in the world.
So that's it for today's episode. We just hopefully you got something from it. It's very much hopefully a little bit of self-reflecting, sharing a little bit of our heart and DNA of how we deal with people who are disappointed or discouraged or frustrated with us. Hopefully we want to encourage you to always take the high road, always deal with people directly when there's a problem. Don't go gossip about them. And also if you're hurt or you're damaged in some way, don't go badmouth people. Go talk to someone, like we said, bitch buddy, and just deal with it in a small way and then move on, right? You take the high road. I just think getting in the mud is not the way to go.
If it doesn't end up the way that you want it to, what I like to do is write a note to myself, like, this is what I learned from it, this is what I could do differently, this is what I we'll tie it up in a bow as, so that I'm not completely looking at another person still wanting something or needing something from them, but to tie it up to say, this is what I would like my child to take away from this. This is what I want. This is how I'm going to wrap it up. So I'm still not expecting something from that person.
And I want to encourage you guys. Humility is a high value. For us, when we hired people, it's actually one of the 3 most important values that we look for is someone who's humble, someone who's teachable, someone that can look at themselves and go, I'm not perfect. That's someone I can work with. I don't like people who say, who come to me like, I got it all figured out.
No regrets.
Yeah, no regrets. I'm good. I'm perfect. Because they're not. No one. I've never met a perfect human. So it's just not. So that self-awareness and humility is a huge value. So if that's not something that you feel like, this is kind of making me think twice, I pray and hope that you guys will start looking at yourselves in a different light and grow in those areas. So anyhow, thanks guys. It's been a pleasure as always. We love hanging out with you here in the clubhouse. Oh, not the clubhouse. This is LashCast. This is not the clubhouse. What am I talking about?
This is the LashCast studio.
This is the LashCast studios. We're hanging out with you today. It's been a pleasure. Otherwise, we will again see you here again very soon. Take care.